Hello, warriors, and welcome to another week with me, your life coach, Susie Barolo. And yes, I can be your life coach even if we just interact in this way because I feel connected to you. And so why not? You may know that our thoughts are sentences in our head and we can believe what we want to believe. I welcome you to this week, and here I am again. And this week we're looking at two areas of our life and how we can make some simple shifts in those areas to bring some calm and peace into our lives. This is one of the things that I like to call, there's an old expression out there, KISS, K-I-S-S. And I think it stands for keep it simple, stupid, but that is negative to me. And we don't make changes from a negative place. When we are criticizing ourselves, we don't make changes. We make changes from a compassionate place. So whenever I say it in my head, I say, keep it simple, sweetheart. That's what I would like you to say. So this week, let's keep it simple, sweetheart. And we're looking at two areas of our life where we often don't make it easy for ourselves. We add a lot of drama. And those two areas are our tech use, specifically usually our cell phone, and our schedule. I hear over and over again how stressed and overwhelmed people are and how they feel like there's never enough time to get their things done in the day. And I hear of how they're sick of nagging their kids and yelling at their spouses. We need to shift something, and often it can be as simple as shifting one of these things in these two areas of our life. So have an open mind as you listen to me today, and maybe you can find one of these areas that I go over, or one of these strategies that I use that you could start using in your life this week and see if it helps to bring any peace and calm to your life. So keep it simple, sweetheart. Let's look at our cell phone first. Our phone, how often does your phone or your technology interfere with your life? Our technology could bring us great, wonderful things in our life. I actually met my mate using a meditation app, so I'm very grateful for the technology it has afforded me. However, it also can have some negative impacts, and that is what we want to look at, because that's where we add the drama to our life. And where are you adding the drama? Where is your phone interrupting your life? Where is your phone depleting you, not filling up your cup? And let's look at it. You're human, that's fine. I got to tell you that the phone developers and the app developers study our mind and find ways to addict us to our phone. So yeah, you've been hacked. But you're human, and you have the power to choose every single day to do something differently, and I am encouraging you today to choose differently. One of the ways I choose differently with cell phone is to have a cell phone car. Certainly for me as the driver, to have it so that I am not tempted to check texts at the light, certainly not texting when I drive. I had been known to do that, and I am happy to say that, I think it was the Christmas before last, that I said no more cell phone, anything, even maps and all that. And my kids remind me of that. But it is tempting if it is there, and so it's helpful to hand it to the passenger in your car and say, look at the maps. But I also, more to the point, it is the people in your car too. No cell phones. No, how many times have you driven? I have 3 teenage boys, and they would be very happy to just put their earbuds in and drive the whole time with me. But usually when they're in the car with me, it's not to do something for me, it's to do something for them. It's not like I'm like, hey, let me bring you along to my coaching client. It's usually like, hey, let's get you shorts, or let me bring you to a sporting event. And so they can take their earbuds out and listen and be a part of the community in that car. I also do this for carpools. If you're in a carpool with me, there's no cell phone. You're there with your friend who's playing on the team, or just your teammate, and you guys can sit there and say nothing. That's totally fine. You can stare out the window, you can be bored, but there's no need to have that phone in there. It really becomes a crutch, and that is where won't go into the problems that it leads to us with social interactions. But just see if you could have a cell phone free car. Now I need to have a little asterisk there. That is not when drives are over an hour. I'm not a masochist. If it's over an hour, plug in, kids. Go for it. I also have a tech-free table. Our dining room table is a cell phone-free area. I allow the kids to have, and I allow myself to have my computer there, because often we'll do our homework or our work there. But in terms of the table, cell phone free. Whether we are eating as a group, we definitely have cell phone free dinners, and we've been doing that for a while. But also when we're eating by ourselves, it's important to just, slow the heck down. And if I'm sitting there eating lunch, why not pay attention to what I'm eating, how the flavors taste, how full am I, how enjoyable or unenjoyable is it that I'm eating. Like today, I made something that looked a lot better than it tasted, but anyhow, I paid attention to it, and I have hopes that dinner will be better. But I encourage you to put the phone down when you're eating. Put the phone down no matter what meal it is. If you need a place to start with dinner. But usually just thinking of the tech-free table is an easy place to go. And when you're eating, we can't multitask. So you don't need to do two things at once. What often happens is if you're looking at your phone, you're just shoving stuff in your mouth. So try it for today. One step. KISS. Keep it simple, sweetheart. Another way, huge thing you can do to help yourself stay calm and not go into your animal part of your brain is turn off the notifications on your phone. Turn them all off. I have texts on, but my phone is always on silent and always on the moon mode so that I get to choose when I go to check to look for texts. I don't have it so it's popping up at me. Turn it off. I won't get into brain health here, but notifications are not good for our brain or for our focus. In fact, one ding, like ding, can pull us off task for up to 7 minutes. Actually, they say even more like 21 minutes, and for me, that often can be the case. But it really, it just zaps our focus, and then it takes our mental energy because you literally have to think. You look at it and you think, oh, I'm not responding to that now, or it takes some sort of mental notice. Or even if you don't look at your phone and you hear it ding across the room, a thought goes through your head, I'm choosing not to look at it. Remove it. Just take out that you don't even need that mental energy spent there. The bing isn't going off. You check it when you need to, and there you go. Okay. Another thing you could do regarding technology use is deep six your phone, I say, which is get your phone out of your room. Get your phone out of your bedroom. What's your excuse? What is it? That you need it for your alarm? Okay, in my blog, I have linked to an $11 alarm clock that you could get. There you go. Do you have the excuse that you need to look at the weather right when you get up? So you need your phone there to check. Here's an idea. Get up and look out the window. Okay. Weather changes all the time. The weather app is not correct. Like it says it was 100% raining this morning. It was not raining. So just get up and look out the window. Listen to the excuses that you're telling yourself as to why you need your phone in your room, and then work around it. There are so many studies as to why it disrupts our sleep. You could do what I do. I have an old iTouch that has no apps on it and no cellular, so that I cannot check anything. I know my brain would be like, oh, just this one time, check Safari, Susie. Ooh, so tempting. No, brain, thank you very much. I'm just going to have nothing on there, so it truly is an alarm. Add to that, I keep it across the room so that when it goes off, I have to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get out of bed and go turn off the alarm. So there's a good idea. But there's a nice idea. Ask yourself, why do you need the phone by your bed? Be an adult, call yourself out on your excuses, and get rid of it in your room. Another way that you can keep tech from impacting your life is have email-free mornings. Don't check your email or your social media until you have planned your day, you have thought of what your priorities were, and until, here's the kicker, you've checked in with every other human being living in your house. So that's kind of nice. Like instead of picking up your phone and looking at that first thing, you could actually look at your spouse or your kid or your partner and just look at them. Wow, there you are. Kind of nice. Forgot what you looked like in the morning. It's a nice way to start the day. Much nicer than looking at someone else's perfect little post, or even if it's like an uplifting post it's not needed. It's interrupting your life. You are here now with that person in your house. Great. If you are alone, you're with yourself. Look outside. Just somehow connect to the day. I like to get out of the house early in the day just so I see what kind of day it is. You could do that in 30 seconds, but you decide when to check your email and when to check your social media. And I really encourage you to wait at least 90 minutes, or at least connect with everyone in your house and plan your day before you then check in on the email. Okay? Adding to email, on the email topic, the other thing you could do is have an intentional email check. Get really intentional about when you're checking email. How often do you check it a day now? How does that work for you in your productivity? Often people have it so that they have their notifications still on, which of course you will have off because you would have tried the tip above. But if you still have your notifications on, You might be checking email more than 5 times a day, more than 10 times a day. You might be just checking in there. You might see an email come through and respond to it. That is a colossal waste of your time, and it keeps you in an elevated level of stress. It keeps your body up there in the stress. I really encourage you to turn it off. I used to have my notifications on so that I was alerted each time an email came in, and because I am human, this would distract me, and I found it interrupting what I was doing. I found myself interrupting what I wanted to be doing, like maybe it was cleaning or writing or hanging out with someone in order to address this email that suddenly seemed very urgent to me. And that kept me in this elevated level of stress. So if someone was there and I see an email come through and I'm like, oh, hold on, I need to reply to this email. Really? You were just doing something else, Susie. That email wasn't even on your mind. How about you go back to what you were doing? You let that email just wait there. It's not doing anything. It's fine. If anything is really urgent, that person is going to call you or text you. You will find out about it. You do not need to stop what you're doing, put the brakes on what you're doing to address someone else's email. Even if the email says urgent, open ASAP, I also encourage you to wait. You know why? It might be urgent for that person, but is it urgent for you? Brendon Burchard, a great life coach, once said something along the lines of, don't let someone else's mismanagement of their day or mismanagement of their schedule mismanage your schedule. So meaning, like, if someone is like, oh my gosh, urgent, this has to be done right away, due tomorrow, well, I'm sorry that they didn't think to email you last week, but you're sticking to your schedule. You're doing your plan. You don't need to stop what you're doing to address their mismanagement. It's just unnecessary drama too. I got to say, about 3 years ago, so an intentional email check is you choose when you're going to check the email on that day, and you don't check it any other time. So about 3 years ago, I chose to, instead of having the notifications on my phone, I turned those off, but I also chose to just check my email twice a day, morning and evening. It was very hard at first because I had this fear of missing out. I'm like, oh, what if someone emails you something important or blah, blah, blah. I discovered 2 things. One, I was not as important as I thought I was. No one was emailing me these hugely urgent requests of time or whatever. And the other thing I discovered, that if someone was emailing something urgent or this must be done, like in a group email, by the time I got on to check, that thing was usually taken care of by someone else. Beauty. So it was a win-win situation. I got over my ego that I wasn't that important and everyone didn't need to contact me at that exact moment. And half of what my email was about, I didn't even have to address. So it was wonderful. Yay. I also have to say that no one really noticed. No one noticed that I wasn't replying to their emails in 12.2 seconds like I used to be. Okay, they just sort of, whatever. And so I went down to once a day. Now I check my work email 1 time a day. Weekdays, I rarely check it on weekends, and I check my personal email 2 or 3 times a week. Probably more like 2, sometimes even 1. It is taken care of. It just takes care of itself. The less you email, the less email you generate. And it is just a lovely thing. I love it. If there's an issue with one of my kids or something that's really important, someone's going to get in touch with me. Usually email is not stuff that's super important. I do check my work email for new clients or new contacts or something, but once a day is fine. And people get used to that. I've read group emails before where someone will say, like, well, I wonder what Susie thinks. And someone else will reply back to the group email and say, Susie only checks her email once a day, and I think she's already done that today. I'm like, oh, thank you. So see how you can take back control of your life by turning off your notifications and only deliberately checking email, say twice a day or 3. Just check in with yourself. How often do you do it now? Could you possibly only check it twice a day? See how that works. Try it. Okay. Another thing, so we talked about some cell phone and technology. The other piece area that we can look at that will dramatically calm our lives is to look at our schedule. We often tell ourselves we're too busy, and then when we tell ourselves we're too busy, we feel like a victim of our life, and we stop looking for solutions. We just accept it as is. I'm just too busy. This is the way it is. No. And when we tell ourselves we're too busy, we run around with our head, feeling like our head is cut off and putting out fires, and we're in a constant state of stress. We're not supposed to be living in this elevated state of stress where we are. We become forgetful. We build up resentment towards the things that we're doing. And I used to be in this constant state of stress. I told myself I was too busy. I told myself there wasn't enough time to get done what needed to get done. And I told myself there was too much to do. Well, we're intelligent beings. And so if we tell ourselves this, we will make it true. There's more than enough things out there that we could find to fill our days. And when I was telling myself I was too busy, I was running from one thing to the next to the next. But as I said, when I thought those thoughts, I felt stress and overwhelm. And I didn't want to spend my days feeling that. Once I tuned into emotional intelligence and realized I'm feeling what I'm feeling because of the thoughts I'm thinking, and those thoughts were, I'm too busy, I'm overwhelmed, I don't have enough time in the day, I was like, maybe I'll focus on different thoughts. So I encourage you to get really clear on what you're spending your time doing and why. Someone will always be able to come around and fill your day with something, add on their priority to your day, or tell you something that they should you should be doing. Do we let them? It's up to us. I encourage us to keep it simple, sweetheart. So, one way to do this is deliberate days. Write down everything you do in your day today. Start today. Everything. When you shower, when you check Facebook, when you check the weather, when you eat, when you grocery shop. In my blog, I will have a link that has hour by hour, a little sheet you can print out and you can write on there, but write down every little thing. At the end of your day, put on your detective hat, your nice detective hat, and look at how you spend your day. Remember, we're looking for compassionate, not critical. When we're critical, we don't make changes. When you're compassionate, when you think, okay, let me look at how I spent my day. I thought I had to get these things done, and let me look. Where am I wasting my time? What am I doing in my day that fills me up? What am I doing that depletes me? Where did I get off track in my day? We spend our time doing what we prioritize in our life, our priorities. If I were to look at how you spent your day, would I be able to see what you prioritize, what you value? If not, how can you shift your days so you're living more in alignment with your values? When I ask most women what they value in their life, they say some combination of family, relationships, work, health. Usually work is out of it, but some of us now are doing what we love. Yet when they write down how their days are spent, I don't see evidence of that. I don't see date nights on there showing me how they value their relationships. I don't see exercise times for how they value their health. I don't see one-on-one time spent with the kids, not at a sporting event, without cell phones. I don't see these things on there. And so that just adds internal stress because we know we're not living in alignment with our values. And they take some simple shifts. One of the best things to do is to start writing it down. Awareness is the first step of everything. Awareness that this is what you're doing. You might have signed up for 3 committees at the kids' school because you think you should be a good parent and parenting is a value to you. But when you sit back and you think, okay, how is this actually helping me parent or helping me with my kids? Because when I'm doing these things, I'm busier and then I'm actually crabbier and then I'm nagging and jumping down my kids' throats. And that's actually not helping my relationship with my kids. Again, to be kind to yourself, compassionate. It's like, oh, I see that. Next year I'm not signing up for that committee. Thanks. So that is a simple change. Write down what you did today, and then the step forward with that is to get a calendar and start writing down what you will do in your days. Getting intentional. There's a direct correlation between my clients' stress and how deliberate their days are spent. If they're not giving some thought to how they're spending their day, they are more stressed. If they are giving it some thought, but they're not writing it down, they're stressed. Get it out of your head and write it down. Schedule a coaching session to get you started. We can have one session. I can set you up with this. Can you write down everything you do today? Is another great place to start. Then can you continue to proactively plan your days? Simple change will shift a lot. All right, 2 more things. Shift your language. Now that you've gotten deliberate about planning your day and what you have on your calendar, get deliberate about the language you use regarding your days. How do you talk about your days? It has a lot to do with how you feel about your days. Shift your language to remind yourself that you're in charge and you're the one that has all these choices in your day. So instead of saying instead of saying I have to, say I get to. So instead of saying I have to carpool the kids tonight, say I get to, because it is a choice. You could sign it. You could call some college student who's on break and pay them to carpool your kid. You're choosing not to, if that is a choice that you're choosing. You're choosing not to because maybe you want to spend the money elsewhere, or maybe you actually want to spend the time with your kids in the car. I do. Sorry, my legs are asleep. But just change your language and make sure that you're being deliberate in your language. So instead of saying I have to, say I get to. Another choice, I choose to. I like to say that. I choose to drive my kids to carpool, or I choose to make dinner for them tonight. I also found it helpful to change I'm so busy to my days are full. That made a huge change for me mentally. That my days are full. It's like they're full. That's a much less negative connotation than I'm so busy. My days are very full. And then from that, I moved to I have more than enough time to get done what I need to get done. That really changed a lot of things. And I remind myself of that if I feel stressed. I'm like, Susie, you've more than enough time to get done what you need to get done. That helps me rethink, like, okay, so what is it you need to get done? Do you need to check Facebook? I don't think so. Okay. So just pay attention to your language. The final thing here is morning mojo, I call it. Begin your day with some intentionality. This is all about sort of mindful living, conscious living, and ask yourself, what do I want this day to be like? What do I want to feel like? How do I want to feel during the different parts of my day? So you think of that carpool you get to drive. How do I want to feel during that day? During that drive, connected to my kids, we won't have cell phones because we'll now have our tech-free, cell phone-free car if we did one of the first choices. But how do I want to feel during that carpool? Pausing to set your intentions for the day takes less than 3 minutes, but will set you up for success. Do you doubt me? Try it. I dare you. Let me know. The more intentional we get about how we want to live, the more we live a life that we want to be living. Okay, warriors, I'm so grateful you've listened, and I'm so grateful that you're here on this path with me. Let's look at these 2 areas of your life, schedule and technology, and where are your actions causing stress? Let's keep it simple, sweetheart. Which shifts can you make today, warriors? See you next week.